This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Jack Threads. Coming up on Destructoid, we've got a bunch of details on Watch Dogs. Dead Space 3 is declared a failure, and we've got a bunch more stupid rumors about those dumb next-gen consoles that are coming out this year. Greatness awaits right now on Destructoid Live.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
I can't believe we didn't grab that slogan for our show before they thought of it.
Greatness.
I'm so mad.
awaits.
It'd be untrue. I mean,
we haven't told them what the slogan is yet. It's very exciting. We may or may not have gotten leaked information about the PlayStation 4, specifically the slogan.
Yes.
Yeah. On that note, we have a great show today. We got lots of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about greatness awaiting us. We're going to talk about Watch Dogs, Saints Row, Dead Space, probably butts or something like that. So by all means, if you're watching us live, just leave some stuff in the chat. We've got Nick in there. He is pulling out interesting things that people say that we will try to read out loud at the end of the show, and you will notice that we can't pronounce anyone's name. So we also have Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon codes to give away. The game has been out for almost 2 weeks now, and if you haven't bought it already, you are missing out. It is so much fun and so stupid, and there's so many swear words, and you can press a button and give the middle finger. It's a great game. And if you don't have it already, good news, we have 2 PC codes to give away, courtesy of our lovely and generous viewers, Neil and Bart. So thank you guys. You guys are very nice people for donating such a neon-colored game. For you guys watching at home live, all you need to do to win is to hop onto Twitter and shout out to the internet followers you have. I'm watching at Detoid Show live on youtube.com/Detoid to win Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon for PC. And then all of your friends will know that you're cool because you watch our show.
Yeah.
That's a true fact.
We will get you laid.
Yeah, that's not a true fact.
No,
okay,
it's not.
so if you're somehow just tuning into video games for the first time ever today, one thing that people have been talking about a lot is that there are new video game consoles that are coming out this fall. And because people are excited about these new consoles, we talk about any little piece of news that surfaces about them, even if it's extra stupid, like a rumor or like the system's tagline. For instance, Siliconera has gotten their hands on what appears to be a synopsis for a TV spot for the PlayStation 4, which asks, "How dare you not be great?" And then it shows a bunch of people, like a bunch of dudes running towards a gamer's paradise that's full of spaceships and dragons and all just sorts of things that gamers like. And then it says at the end, "Greatness awaits PlayStation."
I don't know how this could not be lame.
I think that it's good that Sony is consistent with all the weird, dumb commercials they've done for all their other gaming systems.
Yeah, I remember that really weird one last year with Michael?
They've done some very strange ones. So if you're interested in greatness, or things that are great, or the process of maybe becoming great yourself, then PlayStation 4 might be the product for you. Meanwhile, a lot of sites are reporting on the rumor that the Microsoft company's next Xbox gaming machine is going to be called the Xbox Infinity, which sort of comes by way of this allegedly leaked image that has spread through the internet like wildfire. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's the image of the thing it's going to look like."
That took 10 seconds to make.
Turns out somebody put that on Reddit. That's a Photoshop that somebody did, and nobody really bothered to fact check it, and so now game journalists look bad. However, the name Xbox Infinity has actually been floating around for a while after this alleged screenshot from a dev kit showed up. I don't know if that's real or not. That could be much better Photoshop than somebody did. Look, there's a blur down at the bottom. Blur is hard. That's under filters. You have to look for that. But yeah, leaked hearsay and photos and leaked hearsay photos aside, Microsoft actually 100% seriously did register the domain name xbox8.com almost a year ago. And I feel like between their ongoing integration of Windows 8 with everything else, and the fact that a sideways 8 is an infinity sign, and the fact that whether it's an 8 or an infinity, it's still 2 circles put together. And as we all know, 360 degrees is a full circle. If you have 2 full circles, it's a Xbox 360, and then an infinity sign is 720 degrees.
Look at you all doing math.
I did. The smart. Did anybody point out? Actually, I noticed this. This is maybe this will be a thing. Maybe this is. Oh, here. Actually, this is a leaked concept art photo that I made this afternoon in Photoshop. Look at that.
That looks real.
That could be real if somebody was really lazy. I think it's interesting that the Windows logo does actually. It is a box with an X in it. If you turn it sideways. If that turns out to be accurate, somebody owes me a beer. But yeah, we have just a couple weeks to wait until Microsoft actually officially announces the real name of their dumb thing on May 21st before we get any official word.
Boy, if it is the Xbox Infinity, this is going to be really underwhelming.
I think Xbox Infinity is actually a pretty good name. I think I like that. It beats the shit out of Durango.
I totally thought that
sure.
picture was real at first also because I didn't know it came from Reddit, and I just saw it on Destructoid, so I thought it was real, and then yeah.
The internet. It's like a cage of lies.
Yes, indeed. So Watch Dogs is a game that we've been talking about a lot lately. Like, this is on our list, right? You guys care about this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because Hamza Aziz from Destructoid and a few other journalists were able to check out some of the open world aspects of the game this week. And based on his preview, I'm actually surprised by how much of a role morality seems to play. We already know that he plays Aiden Pierce, this crazy hacker guy who's on a revenge mission, and he can tap into pretty much any technology and manipulate it to his advantage. Obviously, the situation involving his family is going to take a little bit of a bigger focus as far as plot goes, but it is still an open world game at the end of the day, and so a lot of your time will be spent just going out and either committing or intercepting crimes. So really, you can sort of choose to be good or evil here. It's not really a question of whether you can hack into people's privacy, because that is a big part of the game. It's a question of whether you should, and the choices that you make will determine your reputation within the media and the townspeople. Now, naturally, it's a game about hacking, so you'd probably expect a game like this to come with some really tedious hacking minigames, which I actually secretly enjoy. But that is not the case in Watch Dogs. The hacking here is much more subtle and involved. Hamza actually likened it to Far Cry 3's Outpost system, where the city is divided up into districts and you gain access to hacking in each district by hacking into that district's mainframe. And what that means in Watch Dogs is basically you have to go infiltrate these buildings throughout the city, which are under heavy guard, and you either have to shoot or stealth your way through them to hack into the mainframe. Like in Far Cry 3 also, it's completely optional, so you don't have to take over any outposts if you don't want, but it does open up some extra perks, and there will be missions that you won't have access to otherwise. Hamza was not able to actually test out any of those missions or see them for himself, because like I said, his focus was all on the exploration aspects of the game, but he did seem very impressed by the level of detail and what you can actually do. There's a whole economy where you can just buy, sell, and craft anything you want. You can steal pretty much anything likewise. There's also augmented reality apps that you can download for your in-game phone that let you shoot aliens and challenge your friends on leaderboards. Like, it's very meta how it all works. There's a ton of stuff going on at any given moment in time, and that's not even including the multiplayer, which is a huge part of the experience. So in the actual campaign part, other players will be able to seamlessly join into your game and either help you out or sort of screw you over. Everything you do in other people's games is going to earn you rewards like XP, which will carry over back to your campaign. But there is also a completely separate multiplayer component, which Ubisoft has not talked about yet, except to say that they are aiming for an innovative experience and do not plan to just replicate other multiplayer modes out there, which has my interest piqued. If you guys want to hear more, be sure to check out Hamza's preview, which is up now on Destructoid.com. He's got some really cool anecdotes in there from his time with the game. And of course, we also have an interview up with the game's senior producer over on our Red 3 Games channel. Adam Sessler was fortunate enough to check that out this week. And he had good things to say about it, I think.
We'd probably have lots to say about it, but we didn't get to go to that. But I'm really,
we were grounded.
We were in trouble because we set a fire in the backyard.
That's not true.
That's not true. But I'm really excited to hear about this. It sounds like, I'm kind of wary because what they showed us initially was just kind of like, it reminded me of Assassin's Creed 3, where I'm like, I'll believe the open world stuff when I get my hands on it. But this is, if it's sounding more like Far Cry 3, like I'm into it.
Yeah, dude.
And the hacking and the little trench coat, you wear a little hat and you run around. I don't know. Anyway, while we're talking about open world sandbox games, I don't know what that was.
Okay.
A game where you wear a hat, finally. Yeah, one game where you can wear a hat is Saints Row 4, which is coming out this fall. Deep Silver Volition just released this 6-minute chunk of what was being part of their demo at PAX East earlier this year. And we've pretty much heard about everything in this video already, but I will say that seeing it in action, makes the game sound a lot more enticing, because it's a video game, and having a video to go with it usually helps. We get demonstrations of the inflator gun, the inflation gun, where you can just...
That is creepy.
Big head mode, yeah, so that's gross. And then, of course, there's the dubstep gun, which it shoots dubstep, and everybody starts doing the teenager dance. Look at them go.
That guy's voguing.
Yep. And then, of course, there's weapon customization. Customization's always been huge in Saints Row, obviously, and now they finally extended it to the weapons themselves. In this demo, they take a regular rocket launcher and turn it into a guitar case, like in the film Desperado, which is actually one of the less interesting things I feel like you could do with that. They did actually, if you look at the background there on that wall, you can see that there are a couple little other things that it looks like you can do customizations for. I see a Super Soaker, and I see an Aliens Colonial Marines pulse rifle. That's pretty cool. I'm okay with those. There's also the new mech suit mayhem mode, where you just get in a mech suit and do some mayhem. It's like tank mayhem, like in the other Saints Row games, but you're in a robot now, which I don't have any problems with. They've kind of made it so you have a medal system, so it's less like pass-fail. It's more like you can actually kind of have like a leaderboard kind of thing going on there. The real big addition to the game is superpowers. Look at how fast that is. You get super speed.
That's cool.
You're knocking cars out of the way. I think that's actually as fast as the game can make something
render
move.
it, yeah.
Like you are moving as fast as the game will render. And then of course there's super jumping, which looks really fun.
This is like extreme parkour.
Yeah, I'm kind of into that. And then of course there's also gliding, which is cool. They've got all these alien structures up here at a level of verticality, which is one of those words I don't like saying when talking about a game because it sounds dumb, but that actually is kind of interesting that there's more kind of up and down stuff that you couldn't access before you got superpowers. And then of course there's a dive bomb attack, which you can do, which just has you diving and bombing. Let's do it. Let's do the dive bomb. You could shoot them with the gun, but that's boring. They do this whole kind of theatrical thing where like, I could shoot them with the gun, but why would I do that when I can do this?
Whoa.
And they all die. You also get telekinesis, and you can freeze people solid and then shatter them, which is a thing that's been done in like a million other games, but hey, it's in Saints Row now. Of course, you're doing all of this stuff while being the president of the United Saints of America, get it? And you're also fighting aliens called the Zen or something, and you're in a virtual reality construct of Steelport or something, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird, goofy game. I know the big concern right now is that Saints Row 4 just looks too similar to Saints Row the Third, and as it contains some stuff that was, I think, originally planned as DLC. A lot of people are kind of lukewarm about this, but I mean, I think it really depends on how much content is there, though it is kind of concerning that this is being released as a full-price game alongside GTA 5 and Watch Dogs coming out the following months.
Yeah.
Still, it looks like a lot of fun.
It does look like a lot of fun. I'm excited for this one.
I was kind of surprised because I was like, well, it's going to look like somebody playing Saints Row the Third with cheats on, and it looks a little bit more exciting than that. So,
Pop quiz time.
Okay.
Okay. Sleeping Dogs, Tomb Raider, and Dead Space 3. What do they have in common?
G-Terra.
Time's up.
Sorry, I don't know. What do they have in common?
They're all great games that got pretty good reviews and sold millions of copies and somehow still failed, according to their publishers. God, that's sad. Oh God, that picture's horrifying. I know, I hate that. So Electronic Arts released their Q4 financial results in an earnings call to investors recently, and of course, the results of that were transcribed online, and they are quite interesting indeed. Most notably, both Dead Space 3 and Crysis 3 fell below the projected sales forecasts, although they neglected to comment on how many units were actually sold. Interestingly, though, SimCity experienced continuously solid sales despite its lengthy launch problems. So part of the reason that they fell below expectations, I think, according to EA at least, is the fact that we are currently in this console transition phase, which they say has a much more significant impact on the Western gaming market than it does on the rest of the world. I'm not able to confirm that for myself since I've never actually left the Western Hemisphere, but my guess is that there's probably a lot of factors at play here. Personally, I don't feel like the Dead Space franchise really has a whole lot of longevity left in it anyway. I mean, Dead Space 3 got good reviews. I loved it, but it was still the worst received game of the series, and it was built upon a storyline that was clearly not originally designed to support a trilogy, much less more than that. It's actually one of the few games that I feel could translate just as well to film as it could to a game, and it turns out I'm not the only person who feels that way. John Carpenter, the famous sci-fi horror director who is still an avid gamer despite being 65 years old, says that he would love the opportunity to make a Dead Space film, adding, quote, "That one is ready-made." He told Game Informer in an interview recently that Dead Space would make a great movie because you have these people coming onto an abandoned, shut-down spaceship and they have to start it up and something's on board. It's just great stuff. I feel like that's kind of been done before, maybe with like Aliens.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's kind of, he sort of did Ghosts of Mars, he sort of did, The Thing.
Yeah.
I love John Carpenter. Only if you get Kurt Russell to be Isaac Clarke or Rowdy Roddy Piper, because that's the only way a John Carpenter movie can work.
That's true. Kurt Russell belongs in all action movies like this.
It should be in all the John Carpenter movies. On that note, I think it's time we took a word from our important sponsor.
Yes.
Guys, if you dress crappily, people will laugh and throw stuff at you, and if you spend all your money on expensive clothing, then you won't have any money for video games or beer or pizza. So what is a guy to do? The answer is buy your clothes from Jack Threads. Jack Threads is a members-only online shopping club for guys that serves up nice, fancy, premium clothing brands at up to 80% off what you pay in stores, so you can still dress like a cool guy, but also have money for video games and beer and pizza. Whether you're after a fancy collared shirt and a dashing necktie for going on a date with a lady, or, t-shirts and shorts for hanging out in, Jack Threads has you covered. They've also got a great selection of shoes and hats and accessories like wallets and sunglasses, as well as stuff like backpacks and iPhone cases, all sorts of knickknacks and tchotchkes. Again, all of this stuff is up to 80% off every day. Normally there's a wait list to join, but we like you because you watch our show, so just head to jackthreads.com/destruct and sign up today. Again, that is jackthreads.com/destruct.
I need some new clothes myself. All right, back to the show. So it's been a pretty busy week outside of this thing that we do twice a week. I've been reviewing Metro Last Light for the past 2 days. I just finished it last night. I'm going to be putting up my review on Monday over on our Rev3 Games channel. I've got lots to say, so look out for that one. I'm really excited for it. That's all I'm going to say. I also put up a gameplay walkthrough of the new Borderlands 2 DLC character Krieg, the Psycho, whose interests I learned include lighting himself on fire and murdering people with buzz axes. So that's real fun. That is also on Rev3 Games. Also on Rev3 Games this week, I participated in Adam Sessler's new show, Spoiled Games, which is basically where he has 2 guests on. One is either you or me usually, or Anthony sometimes, and the other one is somebody from an outside outlet, and we all sort of get together and talk about a game that came out a few months ago with spoilers and everything. Like, nothing is, off limits. It's kind of like a shorter, more focused podcast, but with our faces on camera so you can see us as we're talking. This week it was Tomb Raider that I talked about with Kotaku's Kirk Hamilton. What a lovely man Kirk is.
We do like him.
So go watch that if you've played the game. If you haven't played the game and you want to play the game, you might want to hold off because, like I said, it does have spoilers in it.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan on playing, then hey, it's all fair game.
Spoiled game, so it should be pretty obvious what happens. I did some things this week, mostly involving mercenaries. I checked out Deadpool, the Activision High Moon Studios game. I got to go hands-on with that. They gave us like 4 minutes of footage to show of the game, so I feel like it doesn't really show off as much of it as it could. I was surprised; it was much better than I was expecting it to be. So go watch that. It's a licensed video game, and I think that they've got some swear words and some stuff in there. I also checked out Splinter Cell Blacklist, specifically the multiplayer stuff. It was a Spies versus Mercs, which is it's what Aliens Colonial Marines multiplayer was trying to be. And when you're playing as spies, you crawl through vents and stuff. When you're playing as mercs, you're in first person, shooting them with guns. So that's a fun thing. Go check that out. That's over on Rev3 Games as well. And of course, there's all the fine coverage written with words on a website that is Destructoid.com, where you can go read similar things to the stuff that we plugged a minute ago. We got some Q&A stuff.
People do have some questions. Let's see.
Stuff Worth Seeing had a really good one about the Nextbox Infinity Durango 720. He said, I like the name Infinity as long as it has nothing to do with Xfinity by Comcast, as has been rumored.
Oy.
Yeah. Oh my God, it gets deeper. How deep does this rabbit hole go?
I don't think that would happen. I mean, those are 2 huge companies to have.
That's crazy.
I feel like that's probably just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Tristan778 says, with regards to Watch Dogs, I hate morality systems in open-ended games. It means I can't go insane and kill everyone. I kind of agree with you. It's kind of like giving somebody a pile of money and then telling them that if they do bad things with it, it'll go away. Like, if you're gonna have a game where you can kill people and, do all of your deepest, darkest fantasies, don't punish them for wanting to do it.
I always wind up kind of starting out playing a game to be good, and then I just get fed up with it and do something really mean.
Yeah.
So I'm like a pretty regular guy who just eventually kills a lot of people and then feels bad about it.
Yeah.
And I come out and I'm just like, So I'm just sort of a lazy jerk. I'm not even like a proper psychopath.
Yeah, it's true. I when I was playing through Saints Row, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3, I was trying to like just kill everyone as I ran around. But then like I went to go play LA Noire, and I was like, you have to obey the road laws there. Like it's really a boring game
Well, what's great about
for
that is
open world.
it doesn't really do anything to stop you from breaking the rules in LA Noire. Like there is a like if you run over a bunch of people, they're like, hey now, quit it. That's
They're like,
really
watch
mean.
out! And
they're like,
then-
that's they give you a grade at the
and
end.
then they
Like
go about their lives.
I beat Fallout 3, and at the end it was just like Ron Perlman just kind of, you hear his voice and the credits are rolling, and he's like, you're kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And that was like the end of the game, and I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't have killed that entire vampire town. Sorry, Ron Perlman, I didn't know you were watching me the whole time.
So Arua Ramos Melo de Assis, that is a fake name if I've ever heard one. He said about Dead Space 3, or she, I don't know, I'm sorry. It's done before in a movie called Event Horizon. I freaking hate Event Horizon. I'm just gonna put it out there. I love Dead Space. I hate Event Horizon.
I've been meaning to watch Event Horizon. I remember people in 7th grade telling me it was
You
the
would probably
scariest
love
movie.
it. It's not scary at all. It's super kitschy.
It's Paul W.S. Anderson, who's the guy who did like all of the Resident Evil movies and Mortal Kombat. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I love it. Well, I hate it. Lawrence Fishburne's cool.
It has not stood the test of time very well. I will say that much.
Well, we have winners of our contest who have won Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. The winners, oh my god, Nick picked the actual best screen names. We got multiple goats and DVD sandwich on Twitter. Congratulations for being champions. We don't usually pick on the basis of cool screen names, but it sure as shit helps. So there you go.
So congratulations to that. Yeah, that's pretty much all the time we have for today's show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You know, you're the reason why our Friday live shows exist, right? Enough happiness.
Yep.
We will be back here on Tuesday in typical pre-recorded fashion. You are more than welcome to go follow us on Twitter in the meantime. I'm Tara Longest, he is Max Scoville, and the show is on there at Detoid Show. Have a great Mother's Day weekend. Did you remember that it was Mother's Day weekend? You probably didn't. Oops.